All right, guys. So first of all, I want to thank everybody for all the comments. I got lots and tons of great ideas, great comments. I was at the fire station yesterday, so he come out here and played with it while I was gone, and we texted back and forth quite a bit as to what he thought the issue could be. And there you go. And this is what we're thinking right now. Now, obviously, once we get all the vacuum lines all back on and everything, we'll find out how it does. But these motors come out with these lines, while these little vacuum lines, little plastic looking, these things get really brittle. And you can see, I don't know if he broke these or if they were broke like that or what, but he said he found several of them that were broken like that on the back of the motor and everything. And so, yeah, I'm going to guess that was the issue. The funny thing is, which, like I said, I'm not a mechanic, but I actually disconnected, I think, one of these up here and hooked up my vacuum gauge to it to see if I had any fluctuations, and it held steady. And so I'm like, well, there must not be any vacuum leaks. So I kind of ruled that out straight off the bat. Well, I guess these vehicles are not the same as like the old ones. When they get a vacuum leak, then they jump all over the place and fluctuate and go up and down, all that. I guess from what I understand, and I could be wrong, but from what I was told, these motors, because they're computer controlled, try to compensate for any kind of vacuum leak. So they're constantly trying to steady the motor and figure out what's going on and adding more of this and taking more of that away and doing all the stuff that they do. So my vacuum gauge wouldn't have necessarily told me the truth on that. So we're kind of hoping that's the problem. And I told him, I said, man, these things are notorious. From what I remember, I had a Honda that had a bunch of this stuff, and man, that stuff snapped off all the time. It just, after years, it gets brittle. Well, they don't make this anymore that I'm aware of. We looked, and I looked on the internet. Guys are like, well, you can go to a salvage yard and pull it off. I'm like, well, hell, you're going to get the same damn thing in a salvage yard. You're going to get a bunch of brittle, stuff that's going to, bust or whatever. A lot of guys are taking shrink wrap, over a broken section and shrink wrapping it back together. And I see he likes this because it's color, it adds a pop to the motor or whatever, and it's green and red and all Christmassy and everything. And two, another thing, you got to think, this Ford's never going to run great. It's never going to be fast because it's a Ford. So you might as well make it look fast. You might as well make it look like it's, it's going to run good. You put all the fancy wires, and you get you an Edelbrock intake, and you get your little chrome valve covers, and you get your K&N filter, all that stuff that makes it look really cool. Because after all, it's still a Ford. So ultimately, you can only do so much with a Ford. They circled the problem. So just saying, if you want to go right, stick with Chevys. But hey, you can't tell some people. It's just how it works. No, I'm kidding. Kinda. No, I'm not really kidding. I'm kidding. I am kidding. I like to bust his balls over driving a Ford because I am a Chevy guy. My kids have had Fords. My son, his first car was a 99 Cobra with the 4.6 motor in it, and it was an awesome car, beautiful. Man, we had it. We put badass wheels on it and dropped it down. I think we had 315 tires underneath it. It was just awesome. But the motor blew in it. And so I ordered a replacement short block, And I didn't realize when we ordered that they have moly rings, and there's a certain way that you have to break those in, because the rings won't see if you don't do it supposedly right, whatever. And it never, like 3 or 4 of the rings never seated, and so it smoked like a train after we done. It ran great, strong, the whole deal, but it just smoked so bad. The car looked amazing. He'd drive it to school, and everybody's like, "Oh, that car's awesome!" And he fired up, and it's like leaving you in a cloud of smoke, and it's like, wow, what a piece of shit, So we ended up selling it. My daughter had a '93 Mustang convertible, little Fox body. It had this motor in, the 5.0 motor, and it ran pretty good. I mean, it was, a couple hundred horse, but it never really gave us any problems. And that was good, but she decided, she wanted something, that wasn't quite so rattly and all that kind of stuff. So we got our little Honda car. And now she's wishing she had the Mustang back. So, but why? I'm a Chevy guy, always have been, probably always will be. Both my kids like Mustangs. I'm like, go figure. I don't get it, but yeah, they both are big Mustang fans. And then of course she, has been dating this guy for I don't know how many years now, and this was his first truck from what I understand, and it's got a lot of sentimental value in it, and so, and he does keep it nice, and he's got the little SVT wheels on it and all that kind of stuff, and I think it's kind of like one of those Lightning type trucks. I don't know that much about Fords, to be honest with you, but it's pretty fancy. But it needs some love. It's got the paint, the clear is starting to kind of do what clear does after time, and so it needs some stuff. But I've tried to talk him into getting something different, Chevy or something cool. But he's pretty happy with this thing, so we're just gonna live with it, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, I thought I'd give you a quick update on that and tell you that that's what we're finding right now. Like I said, he went and bought something that may be the map sensor or something like that. We got this stuff here, this heat, to rule out any water. This stuff is like gas line antifreeze and water remover, so kind of rule out any of that, because the temperature dropping down into the single digits, and that's when it started messing up. So when it's warm, it seemed to run fine, but who knows? One of these may have got cold, got real cold and brittle and cracked, or the motor may have warmed up, and the heat differential, from cold to hot may have split one of these little hoses. So we'll find out. He's wanting to find these. Like I said, I told him, I said, I don't think you're gonna have any luck with that. Your best deal is just to go get some regular vacuum line, rubber vacuum line, and just run your vacuum lines. But that's pretty boring, just to have black vacuum lines after you had all those colorful things and whatever. And I get it, but it kind of is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. I'm sure they probably make some kind of steel braided or who knows what, but for now we need to get this thing running and get it out of my shop because I need all the room I can get. So alright guys, well that's it for now. We'll see you. Alright guys, I think it's Wednesday morning. We're gonna do a cold start on this bad boy and see how she does. She sat outside all night. It's about 36 degrees, which isn't as cold as what we were thinking it was going to be, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. He put all new, I think I mentioned that in the video yesterday, but he put new lines on it. That's what he put on it. Just a bunch of this little rubbery line. Alright. sure that's right. Well, we may not have figured it out yet. I mean, it didn't die, stall and all that, but it's 11 degrees out. It may have, I don't know. That still ain't running completely right, I wouldn't think. Well, it's still running. I don't know, maybe that's how it normally did. Seems to be a little shaky to me. See how it's shaking all that stuff in there? And maybe that's normal. I wouldn't think so. Sounds good. They blew a whole bunch of shit out of there. It's really rich, I think. You can see there's a lot of black carbon buildup. That'll show that. Blew that all out of there. I don't know. I don't, like I said, I don't know. He worked on it when I was at the fire station, so I know he changed something. I thought it was either the map sensor or maybe it was that IAC idle air control thing or whatever. I'll have to find out for sure, but if not, we may have to go ahead and figure that out, see if that's something that's, and I don't know what all he cleaned and all that. I need to talk to him. But yeah. Don't know if that's normal or not. You guys can let me know on that. I mean, I know some condensation and it's cold and all that, but that seems like a whole lot. So, I don't know. Sounds like it's running fine though, as far as just the sound. Alright guys, let me know what you think, and I appreciate you guys, like I said, all the comments and everything, and I'll talk to you next time.